Jonathon Saunders, and I'm a 2D animator and illustrator based in Darwin, Northern Territory. I'm also a member of the Wapabara clan from Great Keppel Island. I've been animating and making comics for God knows how many years. I've been drawing since I was 10 years old. I started doing stencil art in my second year of university. 0 Point, the character, the genesis was on these stencil artworks I did. I wanted to basically create a cool superhero that just happened to be, Indigenous. When I started, there was no one else that I knew of that had done, comic books here in Darwin. My first comic book was actually a project called Bart Kira, which was basically mashing Akira and The Simpsons in a funny way. After I got a taste of that, I started creating my webcomic, Astounding Tales of Hero Fiction. One of the things I love about comics is that you can do things visually that you can't do in live action because they're either impossible or, they'd be really, really expensive to do. But as a comic book artist, as long as you got a pencil or pen, you can draw any amazing scene. In the old days, when you would make comics, you'd have a penciler, an inker, a colorist, writer, and editor. But with digital artwork, it's really an entire studio in one. The first time I had a comic made was having the first 2 issues of Astounding Tales of Hero Fiction printed. And after that, I started actually thinking about adapting the story into animation, and that started my next journey into digital art. So making 0 Point was a really big change for me because I'd been used to, working by myself as a visual artist, doing comics and doing my own animations. Now suddenly I was working with a whole crew of people and different animators, and it was a first-time director working with actors, really getting out of my comfort zone. Mark Colesmith, he really got and understood the character and where I was coming from. And of course, can't forget the wonderful work that Stephen Oliver did as Samson, bringing that real theatricality to the character. So the plot of 0 Point is basically about 0 Point, who's the newest member of the Australian Federal Extra-Normal Civil Operatives. And during an Australia Day celebration, they are attacked by this super terrorist called Samson. From there, it kind of opens up that there's a greater conspiracy in this world involving the origins of superpowers in Australia, which culminates in finding out that Samson has a connection to the Maralinga incident, which they were testing 0 Point energy. For me, that was an important theme about what had happened in our world, where they tested nuclear weapons in Australia and how it affected Aboriginal people. So I was really looking at, what's happening in our world and putting it through a superhero lens.
I have come to grant you sovereignty.
So since the animation came out, the main project I've been working on is the Wild North anthology comic, which features other Northern Territory and Darwin artists. After 0 Point, I wanted to take a break from superheroes for a bit, so I decided to do a Western about a Indigenous tracker called Ranger as he hunts his own section officer because he was a former bush policeman. It's a bit of a cross between spaghetti Western mixed in with Heart of Darkness. Hopefully this inspires other creatives here, that comics really opens up your imagination in terms of the archetypes, the stories, the action, all of those elements coming together to create this unique medium. For generations, people have loved stories about demigods and great heroes, myths and legends, and I think superheroes are really just the modern day version of that.